And so here we are talking about passiveness and anger. I mean, why is it we are so quick? And I'm not talking about whites. I'm not talking about everybody.
Right. In general.
We would go quicker to passiveness in things, knowing we need to get angry in certain things. I say this, the best person on the planet that I use as a guidance in these topics is the Bible. You know, yes, I'm a Christian and all that. I'm not, it had nothing to do with Christianity at this point. But in the Bible, if you read the Bible, the greatest story ever told, you would see how many times anger was used to get stuff done. How many times destruction and death was used to get stuff done.
Right. I agree.
Destroying the earth with a flood. Now, for those who are watching online, I ain't talking about going out and fight. No one, no nothing. This is not what I'm saying.
Right.
What I'm saying is, we as a society, when it comes to racism and discrimination and sexism, even you could put any of the sexism, anything else in there, we always go on the passiveness side of things. But when it comes to anger, don't get angry. No, you can't get angry. You can't get angry at that cop. You can't get angry at Mr. Rittenhouse skipping bail. You can't get angry when someone gets shot or arrested or whatever. Your child is dead, but I'm not supposed to get angry at that. Go ahead.
Okay, here's the thing. When I was in prison, then I was very angry, and everybody knew it. I was very, very angry, and I'm gonna tell you why. Here's a man, and I'm gonna say it, white man, come home. He came to the same prison I was. Well, he didn't last, but because that's the code of ethics. But that's neither here nor there. Here's a man that get mad at his girlfriend and killed a baby and her. And you know what they said? He got mental issues. 7 years. They gave him 7 years. Here come a black man defending him and his family and get a life sentence. And you know what they said? He was angry. He was angry. Keep him off the street because he's angry. You understand? See, it's double standards in society, with the law, with everything. But we as a people have to understand that. Yeah, you shoot my brother down and don't expect me to get angry. You don't have to worry about it because I'm one that retaliate. Well, used to, my background, used to. That's neither here nor there. See, I had 4 brothers in the Black Panthers. So I never had a childhood. Because, them, Huey Newton, all of them was serious about helping Black people.
Yeah.
They was the Robin Hoods of the day. And remember when the woman in 1963, she walked across the street pregnant, trying to get to the hospital, and the police blowed the baby out her stomach. At the Watts, over there at it's called something park now, but over there in Watts, Will Rogers Park, they had a shootout over there. I mean, I was young and I was in the back seat of my brother-in-law's car, blowed the window out and everything. Yes, I was angry. And that's how I came up militant. And that's how I did all that time in prison, because I did not like white people. I was stereotyped. Whitey is bad. 77th Street, back in the day, out here in LA, worstest precinct in the world. Hey, they had a truce with Bloods and Crips. I'm just giving you an example. Hey, man, they went over there and shot a Blood and said the Crips did it, went over there and beat a Crip up in the Jordan Downs and took him to the Nickerson Gardens and dropped him off with the blue rag on and all of that. So the thing of it was some logical thinking people that it was blackness pretty much at that time. What the truth did, they said, man, this dude didn't kill him. The police did that because we seen who dropped him off. So what they did, they cut all the lights off in the whole apartment building in in the projects, and they called the police and told them it was a murder over there. When the police got there, it was an ambush. That's the first time I ever seen unity come together. It was an ambush. And they took out like 75, 80 police, just all out the windows and everything. That's how angry blacks got then. Today, never. It's passive. I'm not saying I want to see that happen, but it's what you were saying, that passiveness. It's like, hey, man, that don't have nothing to do with me. That don't have nothing to do with me. The protests, they don't work to me because it's only for a moment, just to get out there and get your voice heard. Okay, now that you done said everything you had to say, what actions are you going to put behind those words? Because I'm a true believer of this. If your conversation, if your actions is not living up to your conversation, you perpetrating. That's the way I see that.
I want to interject, Ruth, and thank you again. Thank you. I want to interject because I'm following the Black Lives Matter movement and how they are integrating the curriculums to talk about, you know, slavery and Black leaders and all the things that we know, but you know, the rest of maybe somewhere in Iowa, you know, predominantly white community doesn't know, and that's good because you know the more information you know is better for you, regardless of what the information is, right? So they're starting to do that, and I'm seeing that. But I also want to go back to something you said, Pat. You said protests. Now I'm the same way. I believe that there is a time to protest, but like you said, you got to protest with action. You got to have something to follow up with, right? We saw what happened at the Capitol, you know, that whole thing, and we see what's happening now. So you and I and everyone on this panel and everyone who's watching this know we only got 4 years. If you really think about it, it's 4 to 8 years, because in 4 years, we can have another Republican in office. I don't like talking about politics, but
no, yeah, I got you. No, I understand.
And then, you know, but again, it really does really matter, right? You know, if discrimination is still there, it doesn't matter, right? Who's in office? Unless somebody actually, like you said, put some action to it and move out of the passive phase and go to, you know, the medium phase between passive and anger. Because there is a medium. I mean, you don't have to get angry to do action.
Right.
You don't.
Right.
You don't. But you have to do something. And it takes that change within us to do something. So with that said, one of the goals that in our organization I want to discuss is we tend to, as you saw with earlier on with my descriptive, we tend to do things like this and not have the fear, or I should say, you know, like we talked about in other discussions, but to come out there and show people, look, we're coming with a whole range of emotions. You're going to see anger, passiveness, you know, you're going to see empathy. You're going to see all these things because this is what it's going to take to move this along. This is what it's going to take to get out of this mindset that again, like the simplest thing of stop calling people majority and minority. There is no majority and there's no minority. That's a fallacy. That's just part of the discrimination in itself. Your power comes from the word of the tongue. So if you keep saying, "Oh, the minorities," so you're identifying something and a group of people instead of saying, "Well, the Black Americans." You see, so we want to start to implement, and again, there are other organizations out there, but we want to collaborate with those other organizations to start moving out of this passiveness, start moving out of this anger, and start going in this direction of solution.
Okay, but are those other organizations, are they willing to accept your terms, or are they guided by somebody else with a bigger finger and a bigger thumb than what you're dealing with? You see that it's a lot of organizations. It's a lot of organizations out here. But the thing of it is, they faking they fraud. And don't get me wrong, I'm not speaking on no organization, but they faking they fraud. I know it, I see it every day, and I see what they're about. But you have to remember one thing: as long as I can sell you a dream, what me and you talked about, as long as I can sell you a dream, you're gonna have followers to follow that dream. And the thing of it is that they become robots. So if we don't want to agree with this, or we don't want to pass this measure, or we don't want to do that, hey, just do what I'm telling you, and trust me, we gonna be all right. Key word, we are gonna be all right. That organization, that don't come together as a collective whole. That don't come together as a collective whole. We have to sit down at the table and have a meeting of the minds. A lot of people don't want to do that, because the first thing that we want to do is sit down at the table with 4 white men, 30 blacks, and listen to what the white man had to say and be like, man, he's making sense.
So let me stop you right there for a minute. Passiveness, right? What you just described is, I'm gonna throw it back to you. Do you see that as a bad thing, that's sitting in a room with 4 white men and giving their advice?
No. The only bad thing that I see is letting them dictate what my mind, but the power of my thinking. That's the only problem I have. You're not going to sway me one way or the other, because I'm my own man, and I'm going to believe what I believe, and I'm going to speak what I speak. Now, once I do that, it's not about, but 3 out of the 4 of the white men going to be like, he got something going on there. But you could believe 20 of the black people going to be like, hey, man, you tripping. Man, you shouldn't be talking to them like that. Hey, man, I mean, they said what they had to say. That is what I have a problem with, is that right there. No. We're sitting here as a collective whole. Just like Measure J passed, I'm gonna give you, I was at work today, and I want to correct you about something, if I may. No. I don't have my own business. I work for Hopix.
Okay.
Okay. I wish. I'm trying to work on it.
It probably gonna happen tomorrow. I'm bringing it into life.
Bringing it into existence. There you go. So today, my supervisor came to me. She said, "Hey, Rudy, they're gonna have a subcommittee on Measure J, which is how they allocate the funds that when Measure J got passed out here in Los Angeles County, and what it should be used for." Well, now I'm in reentry. I'm RICMS, Reentry Intensive Case Management Services. So I told her, I said, well, I'm in reentry. I said, the problem out here in LA, probably in Washington, they don't have enough houses to house these people coming from prison, homelessness, all these things. So instead of funding, I didn't say defund the police department. I said, instead of funding them more and more and more, use that money and allocate that money for something that you can use it for, and helping the next man. Now, I'm gonna show you where this unity come in at. You take a man off the street, and I've done it in my job, and you take a homeless man off the street, put him up at the Vagabond, and the Vagabond is a hotel that FEMA came in and took over and took all the homeless. Yeah, well, you know about that. Yeah. Took all the homeless off the street, and that's it. So I'm a monitor over there. I'm talking to him every day. And then he said, hey, man, you know what? He said, you really care about people. He said, so, hey, I really need to talk to you. And I really want to, know more about what's going on. Now, this is a homeless man. What he seen was progress in his life. Mm-hmm. In his life. If we don't show people their self-worth and what they're about, we're not going to never get through to them. That's just my belief. Now, everything I'm speaking on is my opinion. That's all I'm doing, is speaking on my opinion. If you don't show a person their self-worth, see, I'm not better than nobody on this earth, but nobody on this earth is better than me either. See, and so I don't want to hear that. Well, I'm telling you, and that's where we have a miscommunication with our youth, because we feel like we OGs and we want to come out here on the street and chastise them. Now, how can you, and I just want to ask you this question to think about something. How can an OG at 64 years old, I did all that time in prison, I know those youth fathers and mothers, but I don't know them youth. How am I going to come out of prison and try and scold them youth talking about I'm an OG and this the way it is? They don't know me, but if they fear me, they will kill me.